When we win, we will defeat this corrupt political establishment. We will save our republic, and we will restore constitutional government of, by, and for the people. The Washington swamp knows that we are coming to break their grip on power forever. That is why they are so desperate to stop us. They will go to any lengths. And that is why the corrupt Democrat prosecutors, an unconstitutional, unselect committee on January 6th, the unselect committee. Can you imagine a committee made of these thugs? They hate us all. Is there ever been a committee like this? The unselect committee. I think that was my term. I think I came up with it first. I'm very proud of many of our terms. But they're continuing their evil and demented persecution of me, my family, my staff, my supporters, and you. It's the same witch hunt that's been going on since day one, since actually the day that I came down the escalator with our great future First Lady. Now we know that crooked Hillary not only spied on my campaign, she spied on the White House. Do you remember when I said years ago, I think they spied on my campaign, and everybody said on the other side, how dare he say that? How dare he? Well, it turned out to be true, and I want to thank John Durham for figuring that out. And I believe that's just a foundation on which a lot of very bad things are going to be learned about what took place. Everything they're doing to me is about preserving their power and control over the American people. If I renounce my beliefs, if I agreed to stay silent, if I stayed at home, if I said I'm not going to run, the persecution would stop immediately. They'd go on to the next victim. Who's next? But they'll never, ever do what they did to me. And nobody else, I don't believe, would be able to take it if they did. I have had that a lot. I've had great people come up to me and tell me, sir, may I please ask you a question? Yes, what would you like to know? Sir, how did you take it? How did you take it? How did you take what they did to you? And in many ways, I can't answer that question. But there's never been anything like this ever done to an American president before. But I can't do any of those things because I love this country. We love this country, and we're going to bring this country back, and it's going to be bigger and better and stronger than ever before. But remember, they're coming after me because I'm standing up for you, and that is it. I'm standing up for you. In 2022, we're taking on this wretched and corrupt political establishment like never before, and we've learned a lot over the last 4 years. We've learned how corrupt they are. Nobody can even believe it. If you wrote a book or a novel, and it was all just printed out like this, with crooked Hillary, with the Mueller report, which was okay, we like it. Did it find no collusion? But with all of the things that you've seen, all of the horrible things that you've seen, the corruption, the spying, it was spying. It's probably worse than spying. It's treason. It's everything you can have. If anybody ever wrote a novel, the great James Patterson, if he ever wrote a novel like this, it wouldn't sell because people would say, no, it's not believable. This could never happen. And it's worse. They're finding out things now that nobody even thought were possible. We're going to end Nancy Pelosi's political career once and for all. And then we're going to kick the Biden crime family out of the White House in 2024 or sooner. But even our Supreme Court justices, and it's sad to say this, are afraid to do what has to be done to save our country. They're trying so desperately to be politically correct and to be loved by all. These are the justices of the United States Supreme Court. They are terrified of the radical left. They are afraid of packing the court so that they are only one of 15, 19, or even 25 justices. And at any cost, they don't want to be impeached. Please don't impeach me. I don't want to be impeached. I'm a Supreme Court judge. Please don't impeach me. I'm a justice of the Supreme Court. Don't impeach me, please, for being with a woman that I never heard of before. Women that he didn't know, women that a particular Justice Kavanaugh had no idea who they were. But you know what? He's lived through hell, and he's afraid. I believe he's afraid. I believe he's afraid to do the right thing. I really do. You know the expression? They play the ref. They play the ref. They said not so long ago, we're going to impeach him for something, and then they found out. The woman got up. She said, well, he never did anything wrong. They said, we don't care. We're going to impeach him anyway. These are vicious people. These are vicious people, and we can't let this go on. They have to gain strength. They have to gain new courage, and they have to stand up for freedom and stand up for what is right. They can no longer be afraid of the radical left, our Supreme Court, and our judges generally. The work of making America great again is only just beginning. The Republicans have a big and bold agenda that they're going to put into action under a Republican Congress, and we have a chance of setting records. But I don't want to say that. I don't want to say we could win 65 seats, because if we win 64, they'll say it was a terrible night for Trump. Terrible. He had a horrible night. He only won 64. He said he wanted 65. We will bring Joe Biden's inflation-causing socialist spending spree to a screeching halt. We will immediately begin a full audit of the $6 trillion of radical Democrats. The money's been flushed down the drain, and they're trying to get more. They want to get up to a number that nobody can believe, and it looks like maybe people will not allow that to happen because they don't want our country to be destroyed. They should have never, ever in the Senate given that 2-month stay. You had them on the ropes. You were going to win. And then Mitch McConnell gave them a 2-month stay. I call it the 2 months in which they can get their act together. And then they voted for the I call it the uninfrastructure bill, because there was very little infrastructure, right? There was 9% infrastructure. Most of it's like throwing the money right out the window. And they voted. We had some Republicans headed by Mitch McConnell. He's so bad for our country. The American people deserve to know, where did all the money go? In addition, we must take immediate action to fight the Biden violent crime wave that is devastating our citizens in Democrat-run cities. You look at what's going on in Chicago. So sad. In Afghanistan, I had a meeting with Abdul. You know who Abdul is? He's the leader of the Taliban. I said, Abdul, you better not kill our soldiers anymore. I was much tougher than that. I want to be nice. Much tougher. Even Jim Jordan would have been concerned if he heard that. But I said, Abdul, you're killing our soldiers. You better fucking not kill our soldiers anymore. Because if you do, you will be hit like no country has ever been hit. You will be hit harder than anybody has ever been hit. And he said, Mr. President, but why? He actually called me Your Excellency. I don't know. Do you think he calls Biden Your Excellency? How about you? He goes, but why Your Excellency, Mr. President? Do you send me a picture of my house? And I said, I'd rather not answer that question. See, I was being very nice. See? I'm being diplomatic. And you know, we didn't have one soldier killed in 18 months in Afghanistan. We had them, this is what we wanted, the Taliban. And we could have pulled out with strength and dignity. They were absolutely, and then you look at what's happening in New York and Chicago and Los Angeles and these Democrat-run cities, and you have 7 people killed in one weekend and 80 shot. It's terrible. Republicans should pass legislation making clear that when local left-wing district attorneys and attorney generals refuse to prosecute dangerous criminals, the DAs and attorney generals can be charged with violations of the civil rights law. I mean, look at Los Angeles, what's going on. Look at Philadelphia, where people that kill violent criminals are being immediately allowed out of jail with no bond. As we defend America's safety, we must also defend American values. As president, I was proud to issue the world's first ban on critical race theory in September of 2020.